Motivation feels like a superpower. When it's there, everything seems easy. You're focused, energized, ready to act. And when it's gone, discipline feels like trying to push a boulder uphill. It's why so many of us believe that motivation is the key to being consistent. But psychology suggests the exact opposite. Think about it. Motivation is fundamentally unreliable. It's a fair weather friend. It comes and goes depending on your mood, your energy levels, the weather, whether you got good feedback, or even just the time of day. If discipline actually depended on motivation, consistent long-term behavior would be impossible. And yet, some people manage to stay consistent for years, even when their motivation is at rock bottom. So the real question isn't, how do I get more motivated? The real question is why motivation plays such a tiny role in long-term discipline in the first place. Here's the core idea. Motivation is an emotion, and just like any other emotion, whether it's happiness, anger, or sadness, it is temporary. It's a chemical response in your brain that responds to specific things: novelty, excitement, and the promise of short-term rewards. But discipline is what's required precisely when those things vanish. That's the fundamental contradiction. Motivation works best at the very beginning of a journey, when everything is new and exciting. Discipline is what's needed for the long, hard, and often boring middle, and to get you across the finish line. Research into self-control shows that relying on motivation is scientifically inefficient. Sure, motivation increases your effort, but that effort consumes a massive amount of mental energy. It's like flooring the gas pedal in your car. Once your mental energy tank runs low, motivation doesn't help you anymore. This is why people so often start a new goal with incredible intensity, only to quietly fade out a few weeks later. It's not because they stopped caring, it's because motivation was doing all the heavy lifting, not structure. When people struggle, their first instinct is to say, I just need more motivation, or I have to get myself fired up again. But that whole approach just creates a vicious cycle. You wait for the feeling of motivation to arrive, you act on it for a short burst, you stop when the feeling inevitably fades, and then you blame yourself for a lack of willpower. But the real issue isn't your low motivation, it's your over-dependence on it. So what do the most disciplined people do differently? They don't try to stay motivated. In fact, they do the opposite. They assume motivation will fail. They design their behavior, their entire environment around that single assumption. They reduce the number of choices they have to make each day. They fix their routines so that they run on autopilot. They create simple rules that work even on their worst days, when they feel tired and uninspired. For them, motivation becomes optional, a nice bonus when it shows up, but not a requirement to perform. Motivation feels productive, but real discipline doesn't depend on how you feel, it depends on structure, not emotion. The moment you stop waiting for motivation to strike, consistency becomes much simpler and much more reliable. That's the difference.